All right, I'm here with an updated look at my Xbox 360 collection. So this is the first time that this has been updated in I think 2.5, almost 3 years now. So just kind of a preface is I'm not as big of an Xbox 360 fan as a lot of people. This generation I mainly played on PS3, so I've kind of just been building up my 360 collection from pawn shops and garage sales and getting stuff cheap. I'm kind of trying to build it up a little bit more, and that's the kind of the reason I'm doing this is I'm looking out for games that can be played on backwards compatibility. I only have an Xbox One currently, but I'd like to get a Series X in the coming maybe year or so. So I'd like to kind of build up a collection of games that are backwards compatible that I can kind of have in perpetuity. And because I'm just really disappointed with how Sony's been doing their backwards compatibility, it's pretty pitiful. And I guess their lack of backwards compatibility with PS3 games having to be streamed and stuff. So yeah, I kind of looking out for recommendations of stuff that I can have on, backwards compatibility that gets good boosts for the frame rate and resolution and stuff. It has good upgrades. But yeah, I'll go through my collection here. Most of it is acquired on the cheap, so there may be games I'm missing that you like, and there may be games that are multi-platform that I have, but I have them on PS3 instead. So, starting out here with Alpha Protocol. This is an Obsidian RPG, I guess. Kind of an interesting idea, published by Sega. Kind of an interesting idea. I don't think I haven't played it, but I don't think it kind of lived up to the promise, I suppose. I have a bunch of Assassin's Creed games. I have the second one, which I know people really liked. I have 3, which I know people didn't really like. And I'm kind of breezing through these. And I have Brotherhood, which I know people like as well. I've never been able to get into Assassin's Creed. I tried the first one a long time ago, and I didn't like it. And I know a lot of people don't like the first one. And then I tried 4, and I know that's probably the fan favorite. I also have Revelations here, which I know people like, only at Walmart exclusive. But yeah, I just haven't been able to get into it. I don't think it's for me. I definitely don't think the new version of Assassin's Creed is for me, more than likely, just because it seems like it's just this big bloated open world. So probably just not a series that I'm gonna ever be able to get into. But I can't say I haven't tried. Beautiful Katamari. I got this one at the flea market for $1. This is an Xbox 360 exclusive Katamari game, which is kind of weird. I don't know. Xbox was at one point really trying with the Japanese games. They were definitely making an attempt on that, and we'll get into some of those later. It was an interesting time, but yeah, Xbox exclusive Katamari game. As far as Katamari games go, not the the aficionado on it, but I thought this game was pretty fun from what I played of it. But yeah, just weird to see stuff like that. Number 1 of the most important trilogy in all of Xbox history. We can kind of think about what that's going to be here, and you're probably not going to guess it because you aren't as cultured as me. I'm sorry, but Big Bumpin', this is the Burger King trilogy for the Xbox. I always thought these were really funny. I remember my friend had them as a kid. We went to Burger King as a kid, and he begged his mom for them. They were something like $8 each or something. And yeah, they were these weird things published by King Games, which I think is funny. And yeah, it was really weird because it was both an original Xbox game, but also kind of an Xbox 360 game. It had achievements. It was playable on 360. I think it got benefits from 360, so I put it with the 360 stuff just because it has that style. But yeah, it was just this weird thing. Burger King had these 3 games, and they're really funny and really weird. And I don't know, I just have always really liked that they did that because I mean, there was McDonald's games for the Sega Genesis and NES and stuff, but I don't know, that was a little bit different. These were sold only at Burger King and stuff like that. I don't know, it's just bizarre. Bionic Commando. This was the kind of dark era of Capcom, I like to call it, where they were really trying hard to appeal to the West, and they took the NES game Bionic Commando, the classic one where Hitler's head explodes, and thought, let's make this into a gritty kind of action game. I think it was developed by a Swedish developer. They went under after this one, but I don't I played a little bit of it a long time ago to mess around with it. Not great. Blaze Blue Continuum Shift. I'm always really impressed with Arc System Works. I feel like they really are like best in show as far as 2D fighters go. I mean, they're just so good. Like their artwork. I'm not the biggest fighting game fan, but their whole artwork and their aesthetic and their pixel art is so good. Really impressive. Chrome Hounds, another Xbox 360 exclusive, published by Sega. This is actually developed by From Software. As far as I know, this was an online-only game, and the servers are now down, so I have not played it. But I don't know. When I saw this at a garage sale, I'd never seen it before. It was in good condition, complete, and I just thought the From Software developed From Networks, and then Sega published was interesting. Crime and Punishment, Sherlock Holmes. I've actually heard some good things about these Sherlock Holmes games, so I got this one on the cheap, I think at a pawn shop, and I'd like to give it a shot at some point because I've heard good things of these. These are by what is it, Frogware? Yeah, Frogware, which is a Ukrainian development studio, I believe. So I don't know how the series is going to pan out moving forward, but I've heard good things of this line of Sherlock Holmes games. I think this is the first one. Correct me if I'm wrong. And I'd like to at least check them out at some point. Like I've heard they're kind of the quintessential, like maybe 7 out of 10 mystery game, but I'm all about mystery games, so I'll take what I can get. This is an interesting one. Dante's Inferno. This was like developed by Visceral, who did like the Dead Space games and stuff like that. And yeah, this was like almost, I hate to use the word clone, but it was a God of War clone in a sense. But I always find really funny about this one is that there is a reprinting of the Divine Comedy, classic piece of literature, but it's like inspired the Dante's Inferno game. They EA reprinted it, and then they like used the cover art for Dante's Inferno. I don't know. I find that funny. I don't think they were like doing it ironically either, which makes it even funnier. So interesting title. Visceral's not around anymore, obviously, but R.I.P. Darksiders. I never played this one. I've heard it's kind of like a Zelda-like, but I've also heard it's kind of, I don't know, whatever. I also own a copy of it for Wii U that's still sealed because I don't know. Do I own it on PS3? No, I don't. Good. I don't know. It just happens. Deadpool. I liked this one. I played this one. It's weird because it's this game where it's like sometimes the jokes are like really, I don't know, lowbrow. Like I remember there was a joke where he like ate a taco or something and farted it or exploded the wall and he like farted or like that was the joke, and I'm like, that sucks. But then there's like really actually some pretty funny jokes. I mean, it's a pretty enjoyable game. It has Nolan North as Deadpool, and it's entertaining enough. I'd say the gameplay itself is nothing too special. It's pretty average, but an enjoyable title, especially if you like the character, I think. Moving over from Deadpool to Dead Space here. So I just actually played through this one for the first time this year. I played through it on backwards compatibility on Xbox One. That's what kind of got me to be like, man, this Xbox backwards compatibility is really nice. It just really works and runs nice, and nice like little boost to your games, makes them look a little bit better. They're really doing a great job with that. And yeah, I liked this game. I feel like I hate overrated. I hate when people say that, but like people are telling me like this is the best survival horror game of all time, and I don't think it's anywhere near the best survival horror game, but I still think it's a pretty solid game. I'm looking forward to the remake. I haven't heard great things about Dead Space 2, and I've definitely not heard great things about Dead Space 3. But I'd like to at least pick those up at some point if I find them at a garage sales or something, or if I find a good deal on a copy. But as far as the first game goes, pretty good. Going from pretty good to pretty bad. Duke Nukem Forever. I mean, there's nothing you can say about this game that hasn't already been said. It's bad. We all know it. I don't. I think a lot about Duke Nukem for some reason. I wonder like, how do you bring this character back and make him relevant? and I almost wonder like it almost has to be like self-aware about how much he sucks, right? Like, like that's the only way I can think of is like he would have to be self-aware that he sucks. Like that's I don't know. I think that could be funny. I don't know. I find Duke Nukem amusing in like a weird way. Like everyone's seen those memes where it's like the Duke Nukem voice, and he's like, "I got kicked out of Dave and Buster's." Like those are those are funny, but I don't know. I find this game fascinating just because I mean they were showed it off in like 1997 and it didn't come out till the Xbox 360 in like 2011. Crazy stuff, but I think it's a legendary game at the very least, for better or for worse. We've got the Fable trilogy, Fable Anniversary, Fable 2, and Fable 3. The only one I remember really messing around with was the first Fable, but I didn't really put enough time into it to really be able to say either way. I played a little bit of it on the original Xbox, and I thought it was pretty cool for what it was. You know, the whole Peter Molyneux, you plant a tree and it'll grow in real time and all that stuff. I know there was the controversy with that, but I thought it was pretty cool. I'm not like hardcore into the series. I know people don't really like the third one too much, or is it the second one? I don't remember. But I'm interested at the very least to see what the reboot looks like, the new Fable game coming out from Playground. Fallout 3. So I my first Fallout game was Fallout 4, and I couldn't really get into it. So I got it when I got my Xbox One, and everyone like I don't know. I feel like the opinion on that game turned where everyone's like, "This game's awesome," and nowadays I think the reception of it's a little cooled. But everyone's like, "Yeah, you got to try out Fallout 3. You got to try out Fallout 3." So I have a copy of it. I haven't tried it out yet. It's one I'd like to get to. Just when you have a game collection this big, your backlog is pretty huge, and you want to try to keep up with new releases. It's tough, and it's definitely tough to fit in huge RPGs. So one day. Speaking of RPGs, 2 games here: Final Fantasy 13 and Final Fantasy 13 2. I have these on PlayStation 3 as well, but I got these copies for cheap, and I know that they're like 4K upgraded on the backwards compatibility on Series X. I didn't really care much for Final Fantasy 13, although I've heard 13.2 is pretty good. So I might try them out on when I get a Series X, give them another shot. If nothing else, at least jump into 13.2 maybe, and say screw it to the story. Here's a weird one. I feel like it's a completely forgotten game. I'd never heard of it until I found it. Full Auto. It's like this weird racing game published by Sega. As far as racing games go, I don't know. I'm not like an aficionado, but when I messed around with this game for genuinely maybe 15 minutes, I was like, yeah, this is pretty enjoyable, pretty fun, wrecking cars around and whatever. But yeah, I feel like it's just one of these weird games where it's like, I bet most people don't even remember this game exists. But I do. So one of my biggest blind spots in my gaming series, my gaming, I guess, experience is that I've not played through the whole Gears of War trilogy. It's one I'd like to. The next thing I like to every once in a while just go through a series that I've never tried out. And I'm starting to run out of some, and I think the next one would be Gears of War. I'm kind of in the mood for just a over the top shooter, and I feel like these would be exactly what I'm looking for. So maybe sooner than I think with those. And I have Gears 4 on Xbox One as well. I don't have the 5th one. I don't like how they changed it to just Gears 5. I don't know. I don't really like that, but Halo 4, I have not gotten up to Halo 4 with my experience with Halo. I know people aren't too hot on it, and I don't know. The whole Halo situation, as an outsider, I wouldn't say I'm a huge Halo fan or anything. I think it's fine. I just am not, too immersed in it by any means. But the whole just series to me is so baffling that, you have the Bungie games and then they create a studio to make Halo games and they name it after a Halo character. And the studio can't make a Halo game that the Halo fan base likes. Like, it's so baffling. It's almost like, don't name your series... don't name your studio after a series and only make them have one series if they don't get it right. I know they did it with Gears of War too after Epic, did their own thing. And made some game no one ever cared about called Fortnite. They started up a studio to make Gears of War games, and as far as I know, Gears of War 4 and 5 are great. Like, people really like those games. The Coalition did a great job. So I guess it doesn't always apply because they did the same thing with them, but still. Good old Halo 4. I also have Halo Reach 2. I've not played this one yet either, so I don't have anything to say about it, but that one's still Bungie, obviously. Next one up, kind of a legendary one. Another one of these games I'm talking about where Microsoft was really trying with the Xbox 360 to get Japanese support, and we get Infinite Undiscovery, which to this day is my favorite bad video game name, like, of all time. Like, we all know the joke, Square Enix makes the worst video game titles possibly ever, with some of their title names, but Infinite Undiscovery really takes it for me. I just don't know what that's supposed to mean. So we got infinite, but what is what is undiscovery? The idea of not discovering something, so you're infinitely not, like, I don't want to be pedantic, but it just, the more you think about it, the more baffling it gets. And I really love the title for this game. The game itself, I can go without it, but I really love the title for this game. What a banger. A Plague on This Planet. This next game is just and I'm not even talking about the quality of the game. The quality of the game is bad. The Kinect sucks. Kinect Adventures sucks. Like, we're going to just say it. But this game's a plague on this planet. There are so many copies of this game just pooped and farted out into the world that are just sitting around. Every Goodwill you go to, it has copies of this game rotting. Every flea market and pawn shop and antique store has 20 copies of this game just rotting away. I think they sold like 30 million copies of this game, and it's like the anti-Wii Sports. Like, Wii Sports, there's 80 million of them, and somehow they still are like $20 on eBay, and people want to buy them and pick them up. And then this game is just like everywhere. No one wants it. No one cares about it. It's a plague on this earth. Another game that just sucks and is awful, but funny bad, at least. Kinect Star Wars. This is so sad this is the last LucasArts game, because it sucks. It's so bad. I mean, it's the Kinect's an easy target, and this is the only other Kinect game I have, so it's just awful. So I'm not going to be talking about Kinect anymore, but this game is so baffling. I mean, everyone knows the famous dance game. What is it, Dance Central? Do they still make Dance Central? I don't think so. They just do Just Dance. But the Dance Central, like, mini game, and it's so bad. This game is like legendary bad. This game is like one of my favorite funny bad games because it's just so horrible. I don't know what they were thinking with this one, and you have to control the menus with it, and the menus barely work. It's bad, but it's a fun time. I've messed around with it a few times, and it's just like, it's a fun, interesting time. The Last Remnant, another JRPG for the system. For some reason, my camera really does not want to pick this cover up, but I have not played this one. I hear there's like a vocal fan base who really like this one, but it's not one of those games. Like, I don't have Lost Odyssey yet for my collection. It's one I'd like to get because I've heard it's great, and I'd like to get Blue Dragon as well as far as the JRPGs go, but those games really have some big fan bases, and I don't really hear too many people talking about Lost Remnant. Another series that kind of just fell off the planet, Lost Planet. Fell off the planet. I didn't mean to do that. Lost Planets, I've not really played too much for them. Another Xbox 360 exclusive, at least for a time. I've not played this series too much. I've only ever messed around with the first one. I really like Capcom, and this is just, I feel like, one of the few instances where they're pandering to the West actually went right, and they got kind of a hit. But it's interesting that Capcom really is firing all cylinders again, and they've just left this and Dead Rising kind of in the dust. Don't really care about them. Marvel Ultimate Alliance, pretty fun game. I mean, not much else to say. They're just good fun. Lots of characters to play as. Classic. One I haven't played yet. This is a series I'd like to play. A lot of the times I get games, I just grab them all kind of as I can because I know it's a series I'd like to play eventually. But Max Payne 3, I've heard good things about this series. I've not played the series yet though. But it looks cool. It looks pretty impressive for its time too. Like the first 2 games look really impressive. And then I've heard good things about 3 as well, even though it's not developed by Remedy. Marvel vs. Capcom 3 Fate of Two Worlds. I like this steelbook. I'm not usually a steelbook fan, but the art on this steelbook is really good. Marvel vs. Capcom is awesome. If I'm gonna play Marvel vs. Capcom, it's gonna be Ultimate at this point. Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, can't talk. Just because it has Phoenix Wright, and I'm a big Ace Attorney fan, and that's about it. But Marvel vs. Capcom 3, it's a little bit disappointing from 2, just because nothing's gonna look as good as the art style of Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Like, that game looks immaculate. It's so awesome. And there's a lot of talk about how good it is that the art styles all blend together, and you can blend these, Mega Man characters with, Spider-Man, and you can blend the Servbot with, I don't know, the X-Men. It's all, like, it all fits well. And I just don't like the kind of 2.5D look of these ones as much. Although I still like the game. I think it's pretty fun. But I wish they'd come back with Marvel vs. Capcom. I don't know. Disney seems to be game to play, to make a game with anybody. Like, they just feel like they're going to make a game with anybody, but maybe one day. All-timer right here, Naughty Bear. I don't know. This game is, it's bad, but it's another one where it's like, you know what? This is kind of a funny idea for a game. Like, I don't know. It's bad, but it's you got to love it in a way. One that I just got this summer. I don't know anything. I'd never heard about this game until I found it at a garage sale I was doing. Ninja Blade, Xbox 360 exclusive, which is cool to see, and it's developed by From Software. At least looks like published by them. Pretty interesting. I've never heard of this one. I was talking to the guy who was selling them to me, because I actually was doing a big bundle buy from him, and he was telling me that it's a pretty tough game, which I guess I would expect, but don't know anything about this one. But yeah. Ninja Gaiden 3. From what I know, this one's pretty bad. I liked, I'm trying to think, Ninja Gaiden Black. That one's pretty cool. The Ninja Gaiden original ones, I didn't play 2, but the ones on Xbox are pretty cool. And then this one I know is pretty bad. And then they did like Razor's Edge on Wii U, and I don't think that one, I think it fixed it a little bit, but not much. Number 2 of the beloved trilogy, Pocket Bike Racer. Yeah. Another Burger King game. I don't know. I already talked about the Burger King games, but you gotta love it. I don't really have much to say about Pocket Bike Racer. It's like the least interesting one. It's just like a dumb bike racing game. It's the least interesting of the trilogy, in my opinion. You gotta love Big Bumpin'. Come on. Prince of Persia. This was like the reboot from, I think, 2009. I haven't played this one yet. I've heard good things about it. Like, I know people really like this game, but then there was I remember the controversy where it was like you had to pay for the DLC for the real ending or something stupid like that. But I got this one just this year at a garage sale, so would like to at least check it out. I only ever played, I think, the first Prince of Persia on PS2, Sands of Time. That one's a classic. But would be cool to check that one out again. Project Sylphid, Art of Deception. This is published by Square Enix. And I remember, like, this is one of the first 360 games I got. I think I got it before. I got a 360 just because it showed up at a garage sale. Really weird game. Xbox exclusive again. I don't remember much about it, but it was just like kind of a shooter, like a space shooter. And I don't know who developed this. I know Square Enix published it. I don't think they developed it internally, but this is another one of those games I feel like no one talks about. Like, I feel like no one has ever mentioned this game. No one's ever talked about this game. I just found it. Like, I feel like I could be the only person with a copy of this game. I've never seen a copy of this game before. I played it once in like 2014. Like, I don't know, man. I feel like I very well could be the only person with a copy of this game. But I don't know. I've never seen it in a store. I've never seen a YouTube video about it. I don't know. If any Project Sylphid fans in the comments, sound off. Collector's Edition, Quantum of Solace. I don't remember. I think I got this like in the GameStop dumpster. Maybe it's complete and everything. I don't know. I don't remember exactly. No, this wasn't the GameStop dumpster. This was in like a weird like bundle of games that I got for like I think I don't even remember. But I thought the Steelbook was cool and whatever. This is not from a particularly great era of James Bond games, so I don't think this one's very good. I remember playing the Wii version of Quantum of Solace. I don't remember a thing about it, but Cubid, this is a cool compilation of, it has E4, Every Extend Extra Extreme, it has Lumines Live, and it has Res HD on it. So pretty cool 3-pack of some interesting, colorful games. Another one that, I don't know, I feel like I have like a weird 360 collection where it's just like random AAA games that were from garage sales that I'm like, yeah, I'll play this eventually. I like to give this a shot. And then just like random games that I'm like, I don't see anyone even talk about this being on the 360. I don't know, 360, you don't really find the interesting games for it that much. You usually see the same 5 Call of Duty games, a whole bunch of sports games, and then a whole bunch of just junk. But I feel like if you dig a bit deeper, there's a lot of exclusives for the game, that the system that just like don't make any sense. Red Faction Guerrilla, yeah. This is one I not given a shot yet. I just got this at a garage sale earlier in the year. Silent Hill Homecoming. So I've never played this one. I like classic Silent Hill quite a bit. Like Silent Hill 2 is probably top 5 favorite game of all time for me. And I know this one's not very well liked, but I'd still like to give it a shot and see, like, what are we working with? What are we dealing with this on this one? Why is it so bad? Or maybe it's underrated or overhated. I don't know. Speaking of both overhated and underrated, and also masterpiece, Sneak King. This is the funniest. I might stream this game at some point. This is the funniest of the Burger King saga. Just because it's a weird game about sneaking around as the Burger King king and then giving people like Burger King. I don't know. Burger King is not good. Like, I don't eat fast food much anymore like that. But if I did, I wouldn't go to Burger King. I don't know. I think the Burger King king is gone now. I think that you can't really have mascots for fast food anymore. So Burger King king is dead and buried. I just got this one maybe about a month ago, Soul Calibur 4. I just think it was cool back in the day how they had Yoda on the 360 version and Darth Vader on the PS3 version. Soul Calibur's always been doing stuff like that. I don't know, I find it interesting. I don't think they didn't do that with 6 though. Or is 6 the newest one? Yeah, 6. 5 or 6, whatever the newest one is. I don't think they did that with the newest one, but I mean, you got to remember, like, what's it called? The PS2 one had Heihachi and Link in the GameCube version, Spawn in the Xbox version. That was cool. Tales of Vesperia. I like the Tales games. This is a pretty good one. Another weird one where it was an Xbox exclusive, but only in the United States, because in Japan it had to, it got to be on everything. But they made it right. It's on everything now, on the remastered version, but they were really trying to get a Japanese audience, and there's a lot of interesting, like, Japanese exclusive games for 360. I don't really understand why. There was like a ton of visual novel games for 360 that like couldn't have really sold well, just because there's no install base for Xbox in Japan, and I mean that's just a proven fact, really. But I know like Steins Gate launched on 360 before coming to other places, and it's like, I don't know. I've always been really interested in like Xbox exclusive Japanese games, just because it's like such an anomaly. Like it's just so bizarre to me, but must be a reason somehow. I don't know. I guess money would be the reason, but Tetris Evolution. So this is a Xbox 360 exclusive Tetris game. Why they needed to lock down an exclusive Tetris game is beyond me, but they did it, and I don't remember if I played it or not, but I mean, I've played Tetris, so I can't imagine it's going to be too much different. This was another one I just got recently. I think from the same guy I got that Ninja Blade from. Universe at War, Earth Assault, another Sega published one. It's a real-time strategy game. I don't know. Kind of looked cool. Figured. I haven't had one of these in a while just because I've been busy, but a lot of the times I'll just have a night where it's like, I'm not feeling like, or, a new game comes out tomorrow. I'm just going to pop in a bunch of random games. I got like 3 hours to kill. I'm going to pop in a bunch of random games and play like a half hour of each and see if any of them are something I'd want to go back to. That might be one I throw in eventually, but Virtua Tennis 3. I mean, I'm not a big tennis fan, but as far as tennis games go, it's one of them. Now, Virtua Tennis has always been good. I like the Virtua Tennis on Dreamcast. So, and then finally, a rareware game. Not rare as in valuable, rareware. Viva Pinata, Trouble in Paradise. I don't know. I don't think this is the first one. I don't have the first one, but yeah, they were really trying something with Viva Pinata. They really felt like they had something, didn't they? There was like the DS game. That was so weird that there was a DS game of an Xbox series. I know they were going to do Halo DS, but it never ended up going through. But yeah, it's just bizarre. Like, yeah, there was a cartoon of Viva Pinata. They were really trying with Viva Pinata. And it's interesting that, like, since the 360, like, they've just thrown it in the trash. They were like, we don't care about this. There's no more Viva Pinata. It's gone. No more. But yeah, that's my Xbox 360 collection. Kind of a different collection just because it's one that I know I haven't played. I haven't played extensively a lot of these games yet. It's a system I'd like to get into collecting for more, especially now that, I never really liked the 360 as a system either. And the PS3 wasn't great with UI and everything, but I just never really liked the 360 as a system. But being able to play a lot of these games, and have this library of great games playable on more modern systems like the Xbox One and like the Series X is really nice. And I've kind of been like, you know what, I'm going to try to beef up this collection just because, I don't have to bring out the PS3 every time I want to play Sonic Generations or something, So yeah, if you have any recommendations for 360 games, especially like weird Japanese ones or games that are, enhanced pretty nicely by the Series X or Xbox One, let me know. But other than that, leave a comment down below with some of your favorite Xbox 360 games. Subscribe if you're already subscribed. Follow me on Twitter at ObjoGaming. And until next time, I'd like to thank you for watching.